Welcome back to Dynasty Dads. Had to take a week off because I was being worked to death. I had to do the job of like 4 people at work. Everyone decided to take off last week, so I was working open to time the shop closed. So it was great. But
Fun.
we're back this week, talking some news. Gonna do a little stat pad game, and then we're looking probably way too early into the 2027 class. But fuck it, it's Dynasty. Most people know all of these names already. I don't watch a whole lot of college ball, and I already know all of these players. Colin knows them the most, so he's gonna take the lead on most of these guys, and I'll follow up behind him. But yeah, like even for someone that doesn't watch a whole lot of ball for college, I still know these guys, and this is going to be a very nice class if everything goes right. And because half these guys are going into their, well, actually more, basically all these guys are going into their junior season, so there's still a chance that they don't come out in that next year. So, but if everything goes right and these players play well and they come out next year, it's going to be a fun class for sure. But how about a little stat pad before we get going?
All right, let's do it.
All right, this one is yards per game, and this is receiving. So receiving yards per game. 2024 for the first one for the NFC South. You probably know the NFC South but better than anyone else. So how about you take a stab at it for 2024?
Okay, so the NFC South 2024. Let's see who that receiving yards per game.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is like Mike
It
Evans, Drake London.
it should be Mike Evans because he caught 1,000. He hit 1,000, but he also um did
Didn't
it
he
in
miss some
only like
games?
13, 14
Yeah.
games, I think. So
Is
I would
that
do
who you,
Mike Evans 24. Yeah, because that's the year.
Mike Evans? Oh, there,
Yeah.
there was someone higher. Chris Godwin on the same
Godwin beat
team.
him. Okay, and
Drake
London barely
London.
got it.
Mooney? When the fuck did that happen? All
Dude,
right.
I don't remember that at all, but that's amazing.
It must have been like 3 games, and that's why
Yeah.
he's so
Like
far up
200
there.
yards. Remember when Kirk Cousins threw for like 400 yards in 3 games? It had to be some of that.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. And
Okay.
then old man Adam Thielen at the bottom.
Yep.
All right. All right. This is a big one. 2000 to 2025, not a first round draft pick. So anytime in their career had to be a first round draft pick that played for the Texans,
Not first round.
yet not a first round pick. Was
Nico
oh,
Collins. I mean,
okay.
but what year? What was his big year?
2023?
Was it 3 or 4?
It was probably 4.
No, because
Um,
that's Stroud sucked in 4, right? So
it
it
was
was
his
probably
first year.
2023. 2023. He was a rookie in 2023 because this is going to Stroud's 25, 24, 23. This is Stroud's 4th year. So do 20. I would do Nico Collins 2023.
Any love to was Andre Johnson a first round pick?
First rounder early.
Was he? Damn.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Christian Kirk didn't do anything, so I
No.
guess Nico is the Collins. Anyone do 2023?
Yeah, it's got to be 23, I think.
I'm
Let's see.
sure. I'm sure there's some
Oh,
early
yeah.
2000s guy there at the very top. Oh, Nico Collins 2023 was the highest one, and then Nico in 2024,
Oh,
Nico in
baby. Then Nico at
2025.
25. Look at Owen Daniels, a tight end. That's awesome.
That's crazy. And then Tank Dell
Yeah.
in 2023 as well. All right,
Tight end position.
what's the target on this one? 42 is the target on this one.
Oh, crushed that already.
That's crazy.
Or is that average? That's just the average yards per game. That's interesting. Average yards per game. That's what they're calculating off of. That's interesting. Okay,
Wow.
so
All right.
the
All right.
real
Well, this
question
one's easy. Go
is
ahead.
it Tony Gonzalez or is it
Oh, come on. It has to be Kelsey. So it's 2000 to 2025 tight
yes,
end.
tight end
Um,
position?
so I I think you have to go Kelsey.
Okay, what year? Because Kelsey was good at tight ends, but he also got touchdowns. What year are you going?
I think there was a year he had like 1,300 yards or 1,400 yards.
Was that
It will
2021, 2022? When was that?
wasn't 25. It wasn't 24. I don't think it was 23. I want to say 21 or 22.
That's and they won this. I would have said 22, right? I would have said 22, but that's me.
All right, let's go 22.
So
Travis Kelsey,
20
2020,
hey,
2018, 2022,
22 was
Tony
third.
Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez did make the list,
Yeah,
but
he did.
I couldn't have gotten the year. There's no way I would have gotten the year right. And then Kelsey
Yeah, that's
again.
fair.
So that's good.
We are killing it, to be honest. So Seahawks, 2000 to 2025, not a first round pick. Um, can't go Cooper Cup. Like Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett, comes to mind.
JSM was drafted like 15th overall. He was a first rounder, right?
Yeah, he was a first round pick. I think it was like 23rd overall or 22nd
Something
overall.
like that. What about Tyler Lockett?
Do you want to do Lockett or Baldwin? I think Lockett probably had the better
I think
seasons,
Lockett had
but
more yards, where Baldwin had more touchdowns.
that's probably fair. What
What
year?
year?
Because it's been a while.
21, 19, 2019, 2021. You
So
know,
2015 was his first year. 2016, so like probably late
either,
teens.
either 19, 20, or 21 is what I would say.
Oh, um, let's go 2020. Oh,
Okay.
what year did no? It had to be a year that Russ was still there.
Ooh, which would have been 19, right? Or was it 18? You want to do 2018?
No, that would have been his fourth year. Fuck it, let's go 2018. We've already smashed it. Oh, it was a bad one. DK Metcalf was a second round pick. I forgot about
Oh
that.
shit, that's right.
2021 was
Daryl Jackson.
Tyler Lockett's. Yeah, I knew
2021
that. Yeah, I fucking knew there was gonna be some early
eh,
2000s
could have been
in
worse.
there. Yeah. DK in 2020 obviously was the best choice. Oh,
Yeah.
obviously. I forget that he was a second round pick
I always forget he
sometimes.
was early second, right? Is that where it was?
Yeah. 2015 NFC North, Bears, Vikings, Lions, Packers. 2015 Jordy Nelson
This
or
this is you. It's yardage. You would know this better. I mean,
Devontae Adams. I think Adams. I see. Let me see when Adams started.
if it was Adams' first or second year, it wouldn't make it. Now, this is his second
No,
year, no
no, it's
way.
not. No, no.
Um,
So Jordy Nelson. Okay, just to think about everyone else that was there for the
was Calvin
Vikings.
still there? Calvin Johnson, or was he gone?
I,
He was gone.
yeah, that seems right. Or he was on the back end. Oh, I guess that's a type Calvin. There's too many Johnsons.
When did he
I can't spell Calvin.
uh, life sucks sometimes. What year
Yeah.
did
Oh,
2015 was last year.
that would have been his last year.
Do you wanna do
I
that?
kind I
Yeah.
kind of want to go Jordy.
Or is it like Brandon Marshall?
Jordy. I mean, Marshall's probably a good pick too, but Jordy. This he would have been in year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, year 8. So he would have been pushing 30.
Okay. I mean, it's up to you. You
Marshall.
know this division better.
It's
Brandon.
either Marshall.
Oh,
Okay, it's got two branded Marshalls, and because one obviously is not him. That's 2012 to 2018. He's the 2006 to 2018.
gotcha.
And that
2015.
he would have been super old. Let's go Jordy.
Okay.
Fuck it.
And then we'll see.
You also had Driver.
No, driver's on it.
Fuck it. Oh,
New York Mets?
okay.
Wrong
That can't
Jordy
be right.
Nelson. Wait, what?
I thought there was only one. Jordy Nelson.
Click that.
I guess he wasn't there. Was he not there in 2015?
So was he a New York? Jed or something? Maybe he
Oh
wasn't
my
there.
goodness.
Brandon Marshall?
How about
Devontae
Cobb? Cobb?
Oh my god, that's some bu no, no, I refuse to let that happen. Nope, 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 disappointment. If you click it, this is just shameful.
Oh my goodness, why is this so hard?
No, take Brandon Marshall, 2015.
All right, fuck it. I can't wait to for it to be Cobb.
If Cobb's more than Marshall, you were 100% right.
He was a New York Jet.
Jed then? Jesus Christ. I forgot he was on
What was
there.
happening in 2015? Nate Burleson.
Jesus, that was that he had one awesome year.
Oh, he wasn't there.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Who
I
was the
think it has to be Cobb.
Oh my god, that is disappointing if that's who we're actually selecting. Select it, see
I
what
mean,
happens. At
he
this
was in
point,
his
let's keep
fifth.
moving.
He was in his fifth year. Oh, that
Oh,
was a good pick too. Suck my dick.
51. Alshon
Alshon
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
The other guy. Shit.
Cobb
Look
was
at
fifth
look who's
on the
second.
list.
Look who's second. Calvin Johnson. James
Calvin
Jones.
Johnson.
That's the one I was thinking of. But it wasn't much different for those guys. Cobb got fifth on that list. That's not
Yeah,
bad.
there you go.
Calvin did have a good year. Alshon was the year. Yeah, nice. All right, not bad.
All right, not bad at all. All right, how about some news?
Let's
How
do it.
about some news? All right. Right off the top, there's going to be an interesting thing that happens probably over the next month or two. Brandon Sorsby, he was denied eligibility to go back to college for one more season. So he's going to be probably coming into the league through the supplemental draft that takes place in July. They haven't had one since 2023, so they canceled it in 2024 and 2025. The issue that I face, being over 30 plus leagues, is how to handle this. There's a couple ways that come to mind right off the top of the dome. Here is either he is not eligible for this season and he goes into the draft for next year, or it goes into like a draft lottery where if you want to give up a 2027 second, your name gets put into a hat and I spin a wheel, and whoever's name it lands on, that's who gets them, and you have to give up your 27 second. Colin, do you see
You have to start
any
with the
other
first though.
way?
If someone wants to give up a first, you have to be willing to do that.
I mean, we could start it at a first, but I don't know if anyone is giving up a 27 first for him. I mean, if he goes
But
to the Jets, then fine. But
what I'm
I
saying is
guess,
that doesn't matter. If you're doing the lottery, you need to start with give a 48-hour notice in every league, something like that. Say, hey, you can DM me or you post in here if you want Sorsby and are willing to give up a first. Let me know within 48 hours. And then you do a lottery. If there's two people that do it, great. If one, they get them and they give up their first. If there's none, the next 48 hours, you say, hey, who wants to give up a second? Because I don't know if all teams will give up a second for him. If they have three quarterbacks and are
yeah,
fine with it, they're like, move along,
yeah,
So
but
I would say you got to keep
you
moving
wouldn't
down the
have,
list if that's how you want to
yeah.
do it.
Those are the two that come to mind right off the bat. If anyone else has any idea to do this fairly, I don't think Fab is the fair way to do it because people have
Fab's
already
the
spent
worst way.
Fab. Yeah, because then people are trying to trade for Fab, and then you have people that haven't picked up anybody at all, has all their Fab. I just don't think Fab is the right way to do it, just because it's not an even playing field right this moment. And even if we had all of our Fab and I reset all the Fab, then it's there's just no way to do it fairly with Fab, I don't think. But if anyone has any way or any ideas of doing this in a fair manner that is fair for everyone, then shoot me a DM because I'm gonna have to put something together here within the next few weeks. Hopefully, Sleeper does not put him on the platform just yet. I know Sleeper was quick to the gun this year with adding the rookies to the platform, and for leagues that had already drafted rookies, where we did a startup and they were already in the draft pool, before the NFL draft. Those absolute psychopaths that voted for that. It caused a lot of problems because players were added later on after the startup, so it just caused a whole bunch of mess. Um, so yeah, that's going to be something interesting to deal with, and also how is the NFL going to handle him as far as why he can't go back, or not know why he can't go back, but all the things going around him as far as him betting. I'm sure he's going to be on some type of program. Is he going to miss games? I wouldn't think so because it happened before he was in the NFL. I
They
highly
usually let that
doubt that
go.
he
It's
gets
gonna have very
anything.
little, but he's automatically gonna be in the gambling program,
Oh yeah.
you know? But he's
Yeah,
not gonna get suspended or anything.
he was betting on some wild shit too. Like
Strikes and balls?
yeah, like he was he was bet on sports overseas that no one even knew were a thing. He was bet on it. He was just he's got a problem, and which most of us do. So but other than that, let's keep going. We got news today that Nico Collins, your boy, his contract for the next 2 years is fully guaranteed. So he's going to be there for at least the next 2 seasons, and probably going to
Oh, yeah.
sign an extension probably next year. So that's just good for him. He's going to make
Yeah.
all of his money. Next, Stafford got a 1 year extension for 55 mil, which kind of goes aligned with what I thought is when you took the rookie, and even in our drafts, you're just prepared for him to sit for a year or two, and this is making it to where it's 2 years. So um, if you picked him, just put him on your taxi and just let him sit. But if you own Stafford, now you know that you're pretty much locked in for the next 2 seasons. Um, do you got anything else on Stafford?
I'm still not sure because part of this could be fully guaranteed, extension worth 55, blah, blah, blah. Part of it is probably where he gets some bonus that extrapolates the cap hit into next year as well. So I don't really know, but it makes Simpson seem a little more risky and Stafford a little more solid.
Safe.
But I still think there's an opportunity where the end of this year he retires, gives up X amount, and doesn't care. Does that make sense? Like
I don't know
that could
about you, but I'm not walking away from 55 million next year. It would
well,
take a
but
special type of individual.
what I'm saying is an extension, but could have they done a all we hear is a 1 year extension? Could have it been a true this year, next year kind of deal to move the cap hit further down and then it automatically voids, stuff like that. Because there's a lot of ways to make that happen. But anyway, good for Stafford.
Yeah.
He's clearly there this year. We already know that.
Speaking of old men at the QB position, gonna play another season. Aaron Rodgers decided to come back for what he says is his last year, but I think this is like his third year in a row
Yeah.
saying that. So I'm expecting one more season, and if they don't do well, he's gone. If they do make a deep run in the playoffs, which I don't think that they will, then he might come back for one more season. But he said that this is his final season. He's what 42 now at this point. He's pretty old. But with the pieces that they've added, especially in the wide receiver room, it's better for Rodgers. I think more of the short area field guys, not the DK Metcalfs of the world. I think suit him better than DK. So, um, this next bit right here, um, Greg. I'm old Greg. You know who you are in all the leagues. I know we've been going back and forth on Rice now for probably 2 years now. But Rice, first of all, he got a cleanup surgery on his knee, and then a week later, he was arrested for a failed drug test for weed in here in Dallas. So he was ordered then to spend the next 30 days in jail. He's going to miss some offseason workouts, and it probably doesn't bode too well for him trying to get a contract for past this year, which the Chiefs have already come out and said we are not making this a priority. So there's so many ways to look at this. His value for dynasty, his value for this year, Is he going to miss some games now? Is he going to get a suspension? Probably, maybe one game, two games, if one at all. Um, but without a contract with the Chiefs, I don't think Rice is much of a player if he goes anywhere else. I think he's a very scheme player for the Chiefs. He fits their offense well and what they want to do. He would have to go somewhere where they do pretty much the same thing and want to use him in that same role. He's not like a Jamar Chase or someone of that caliber that can do it all. But there's been so many buy low, sell high chances with Rice. What are you currently doing with Rice?
Well, I was gonna bring it up to you. If I have him, I'm just holding because I know his upside's so high, but I need a steep discount to go get him because we've heard the Chiefs are not willing to give him any kind of extension or deal right now. And I'm with you. I 100% agree, Gus. If he is not a Kansas City Chief, he is a system guy, in my opinion. Yes, he is athletic, but he just got hurt. And now he had a cleanup and he's got off the field issues. Like the real question, what's the highest pick you give up for him in the 2026 draft? Would you give up the 204?
Probably the 204 just for this year. If I'm a contender and I somehow have an early second, I think he's a good piece
What,
to add for this season. But
what
it's
about the
just for
201?
ah, I'd probably draw the lines around the 20, 202, 203. I mean, if I need the help at wide receiver for this year, I mean, who else are you going to trade the 201 for that's going to give you the same level of
Christian
production
Watson?
this year? I would rather have Watson.
That was a homer pick, but what about the
I
reason I'm bringing it up?
traded
Yeah,
I
is kind of
I
that idea.
traded I traded a mid second for Adams. No, just to have for this year, maybe one more season, but it was just for
Okay,
depth.
yeah.
I mean, it was just for depth for this upcoming season to be a contender, and I kind of see him in that same light. He's not near as old as Adams, but he's someone. Hopefully, if he doesn't get a multi-game, not ban, but suspension, then he's going to be good this year. As long as his knee is all right, he's still going to be probably the top target in this offense. And so he'll probably be a back end one. I've seen people think of him as high as a mid wide receiver one for this upcoming year. I would probably peg him around a late wide receiver one, maybe an early wide receiver two for this upcoming season. But you can't get those guys for seconds most of the time, even if they're old. I mean, like guys like Devonte Adams, like he's not going to be a wide receiver one. He's going to be a mid to back into at the very best, just because of everyone else that they have in that offense. But those kinds of guys, it's hard to get 4 seconds. But I think Rice is worth probably the 201 to 204 if you want to give up a back end first because you believe that he's going to get a contract with the Chiefs. Then by all means, if he does get that contract, then it probably works out as long as he can actually stay on the field.
And that's the thing. You're kind of buying a supreme talent, but maybe just 1 year, and we don't know how he's going to look after this surgery, right? We
Yeah.
we just we're not sure, and it's a big issue. So I'm
Yeah.
holding if I have him is what I've decided, and if I'm not really making offers, it's going to have to fall in my lap to be an extreme value. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm not. If someone just off straight up, it's probably mid second. Yeah, 206, 207 for me. And I'm not even that, this class wasn't great, but it's just, I don't really want to take the risk. I have to be in such a contender mode or won the league last year to even think about it.
Yeah. If you're a contender going into the season, are you going to give up a 27 second?
No.
We were once here with another Chiefs wide receiver in Tyreek. Everyone thought he was done. He was going to be out of the league, and then he came back that next season and was a top wide receiver. Not saying that Rice is anything like Tyreek, but they seem to have a type. But
What if they go get Tyreek right now?
That'd be great. Because I have a lot of Tyreek shares, and I would love for him to just slot into my flex after being on the bench and not being on a team. But I've been seeing some stuff on Tyreek that he may not even be good to go to midseason, which is.
Really?
But but I've also been seeing clips of him doing drills and running. So I don't know what's true on that. But if Tyreek signs with the Chiefs, I think that's the best place for him to go because they need somebody else there. And if
Yep.
Rice is going to miss games or if something else happens and he's not there, then that'd be a good spot. But for Rice, I do agree. It is a hold. I'm not buying him unless someone wants to sell for dirt cheap, and that's also why I have zero shares because I've been saying this for years now. And
Yep.
but if you got, I mean, he just went in what like the fifth round or fourth round of the startup that we were in. I
Yeah,
think he
4th or
went.
5th. We'll do that
Yeah,
review next week, so we can look at that
yeah,
again.
yeah. That startup just finished this weekend. Um, so that review will be next week, and that'll be one of the things I'm sure is talked about. I already know who my least favorite pick is for CJ. So, uh, but going on to the next bit of news, HN. I don't think we covered it because I think this was between the week where we didn't record. 4 years, 68 mil. I mean, great for him. He got paid. He's one of the top paid backs in the league. Also means he's not going to go nowhere. I think he's going into his third season, right? Fourth season.
4th. Is it 4th? Yes, 4th year,
Okay, so
right?
yeah,
Yes, it was,
yeah,
like,
you're right.
awesome rookie with some of the good stuff. 2nd year was kinda hit or miss. Last year was better, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
I think you got it. But it's good for him. He's going to be the main focal point of that offense, and he should be great for this year, next year, as long as he stays healthy. I know that people kind of don't talk about his size really anymore. That was a big topic around the draft, and I didn't have a whole lot of shares on him just because of his size. But when he went to Miami, I was like, all right, this is probably a good fit because he was a good fit for the scheme there. But now he's paid. If you have him in Dynasty, I mean, where do you have him in Dynasty? Is he top five?
He's currently my running back wise, he's my running back
I I know you go
5.
uh Bijan
I have
Gibbs
him
and then Love
it's
Genty
he
next.
he's either 5'6", but I'll be honest, 4, 5, 6 are very close with Achan,
Genty
um, well,
Hampton.
Achan, Genty, and Hampton. You got it. All very
Yeah,
close.
and you still have Love at three.
I still love it 3. I do.
All right, all right.
Yep.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I just can't do it right now. I'm not saying that in a year or two you're probably right,
It a
but
little bit has to do with the age, not compared to Genty, but to Achan,
yeah,
offensive situation.
yeah, I get it. Another bit of news. Neighbors got a cleanup surgery on his knee. He's probably going to miss a couple games start of the season. He might even start on the pup. If he does, then he's going to miss 4 games. And it's not a great start to the season for the Giants. And even when he comes back, is he going to be fully there and healthy? I would hope so. If he's going to miss that much time, his knee injury was like week 3, 4
It
of
was early,
last year.
week 4, 4, 3 or 4. You're right in there. Doesn't matter. Anyway, the cleanup is scary. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's no way he's playing the first 4 games. And if that's the case, are you bumping him down in startups?
It definitely depends on which route that I want to go. If I want to contend, I'll probably pass on him for one of the guys that's actually going to be on the
Well,
field,
right
and
around him, you
also
got
just.
CD, you got Amon-Ra, you got Jefferson. Chances are one of them at the same time that neighbors go. So if you want to compete now, you can get them, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's
Would you
there's
move?
still
Would you
value
with
there.
this news? Are you moving neighbors behind them? That's the question.
Where I have neighbors in leagues, I traded for him quite a bit last year once he got hurt, and I had a team that was playing for the future. I made some trades to get him. I don't have that many shares. I maybe have 3 or 4 shares. So where I have him, I'm gonna hold just because I'm not planning on playing for this year to begin with. But if I had him and I was trying to contend, I don't think you're going to get. I mean, I would go to a team that doesn't look like they're gonna be playing for this year and try to make them a trade for, plus, get tear
Yeah.
down to like Drake London or Nico or something like that, plus picks or plus other players, just to stay in the co- contending field for this year. Um, but as far as in startups, depending on which route you want to go, like what you just did in the startup where you were trading back a whole bunch, like putting him on a team like that's playing for it in the next year is probably the best move. But at some point this year, he's going to be playing at full strength and he's going to be a great asset. So if you can hold, then hold.
Yeah. No, I
That's where I'm
I
at.
think it's great to hold. He's still very young. The injury, of course, hurts. I like that Dart's gonna be there. He's got no real competition, but the offense will be centered around him. Um, but no, for this year, it's if you can get off of him and you're really a contender, you probably should have done it in the offseason more than where you are now, but it's still maybe a time to go try and trade in and out of one of those other studs.
Yeah, that's fair.
The next guy that you put on the list, and we can quickly go through because I don't think it means shit, is Keenan Allen could be back with the Chargers. Let's just get past that. You
Yeah,
know,
it was just it was just that the Chargers. I don't remember if it was a GM. I think it was a GM that came out and said if he wants to play for this year, the door's open or something like that. Which
yeah.
no, not that he's a great player at this very moment. It's more of it's going to muddy the waters for everyone else. QJ, Ladd, Trey
How can you,
Harris.
if you're a true GM and the head coach, and I guess McDaniel is the new coordinator, how can you accept this? Because at some point you got to see if QJ is the legit thing, or you're going to pay him the big
Yeah.
money. You got to see what you have in Trey Harris, and you got to see Ladd develop again because it's his third year. I think it's really dumb for the Chargers they do it. Might it help their team? Maybe, but then they're gonna have no idea who to pay after this season.
Yeah, I
It's
think
ugly.
it would be a smart move from the team perspective if they sign him but don't play him a whole much. He's just another coach
A
in the
player
room.
coach.
Yeah,
If
which
he's a fourth
yes,
or fifth receiver, if an injury happens, he's there. But I don't know if that's what you
perfect,
want.
perfect.
I mean,
But
let's
I
be honest.
don't.
The Chiefs should be calling him right now.
Yeah,
They should,
and
with Rice's issues and like he's fits up perfectly for that system.
yeah, it's just
Anyway,
I I hope that he doesn't sign and then all my shares of Lad and QJ kind of go down the drain because he is gonna play some. I would more prefer they sign him and then not play him a whole bunch. Just like have
yeah.
him as the fourth guy,
But don't
third or
forget Trey
fourth guy.
Harris, who I know you loved.
Yep,
Like
yep.
I
So
know you were
fourth
high on him.
guy,
We talked about this all
fourth
last
guy.
offseason. So we can't deny all these shares. And I know last episode we talked about my QJ and getting rid of him. This could hurt it even more, but I think it would be bad for
They
they
don't
need to find out what
play.
they have in these young guys. And if you bring in Keenan Allen, you won't know until you have to pay these young guys, which I
I'm
just think it's a dumb
I'm
move.
not so much worried about QJ because they don't even play in the same places on the field. QJ is a deep threat downfield. He's outside. It it would hurt Lad more than anything, and I just want Lad to be back to where he was his first year, which I don't expect him to be a top wide receiver one or anything like that, but just a good wide receiver
Yeah.
two, a consistent two would be nice. So hopefully they don't bring him back.
Yeah.
Um, Next bit, Bucky. They came out and said that he's going to be back at some time this summer or fall. It's like, okay, that's into the season, bud. That's a big gap there. But he did just have a procedure on his shoulder not too long ago. So he's still trying to deal with that shoulder, which makes sense because he didn't look great last year. He started the year great, but once he started having problems with his shoulder, that's when it really started to go downhill for him. Hopefully he's back in the rotation this summer because if he doesn't, then he's got some problems behind him. I mean, not
Are you
huge.
willing to give up a late 26 first, like the 110?
I I'd be fine in the back end of the first, yeah, because
That's what I said,
he's
110.
only yeah, he's only 23. He's still someone that I liked. I know he was only a fourth round pick, but when he took the job from White, like fourth round
Yeah.
picks don't come into the league and just take jobs away. So not that White is anything great, but he still took a job from a vet. And when he's healthy and on the field, he looks great. It's just, is he going to be healthy and on the field? I think at some point he will, but he's going into year 3 now.
Year
This is
3, and they signed
year
Kenneth
3.
Gainwell, and they brought back Sean Tucker. So
Yeah,
the real question is, like, are you wanna do it? And for me, I am, and that's even with
yeah,
I have a ton of Gainwell and Tucker shares, but for me, it's I think they said he was the starter when he was there last year. Didn't
yeah,
quite show up, but when he is, he's the starter and looks pretty good. I think the offense will be better this year than last year, especially what it was at the end of last year. So I, I I just know a lot of people are treating him like cancer and not trying to get him or trade for him, and are trying to get rid of him for almost anything. And I think now could be a good time to get him.
yeah. That's fair. I mean, I see it going one of two ways. Either it's a great season for him, or it's so muddied up and split up between the three backs that he's a back end RB2, maybe even an RB3, which
And
would
that's the
suck.
problem. If that's the case, he might be not necessarily out the league, but fantasy wise, maybe they draft a rookie next year, you know? And
Uh-huh.
so all of a sudden his value is gone. So that's why you got to you take your shot. Are you more interested in Omar Cooper, or are you interested in Bucky that you've seen do it before? Right?
I
That's
would
my
probably
thought.
go Bucky
Exactly.
now. Yeah. All right. And then this just happened probably an hour or two before recording. Josh Jacobs was arrested on some bullshit charges. There's no proof he didn't do anything. I'm just kidding. He's currently arrested. I don't know if he's posted bail just yet. He's come out and said that everything against him is false. That shit didn't happen. So we'll just have to see. I'm sure we will get more information as the week goes on, and probably into next week about what's going on. Um, and also with this, is he going to miss games? Is he going to get a game or two suspension? Probably more like a half game. Like they'll set him for the first play of the first game, and then he'll be in. But yeah. I mean, if you have Marshawn Lloyd, like this is your time to get a third for him. Like it's like this is basically where it's at. I mean, I went and looked at who's currently a free agent. You have like Najee Harris, you have Kareem Hunt, guys like that. I mean, I wouldn't be too pissed at Najee. Yes, he did tear his Achilles, right? So he's basically, I
Yeah,
mean,
Najee's
he
kind
was
of
already slow as fuck, and now he's going to be even slower. But do they go out and trade for somebody like a Trey Benson that's now buried on the Cardinals? That would be awesome. Or somebody, because currently they have Marshawn Lloyd and basically nobody else on
whoa,
that
whoa,
team.
whoa, whoa, whoa. They got Chris Brooks.
Mhm.
Leave that man alone. He did okay.
Don't they have Jerome Ford too?
No, he went to Washington.
Oh, I guess he was there for like a minute and then he was gone.
Maybe. They got Damian
All right.
Martinez, second year
Okay,
guy
okay,
out of Miami.
okay.
So
Starter.
there's some options. They got plenty of options. Oh, they got so many good guys. Damian Martinez has
If
been on like 8 teams already.
if they don't have Jacobs, then Jordan Love's throwing for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. That's gonna be
Uh,
great.
I mean, you if Jacobs isn't there, watch
He's
out.
gonna be there.
Christian Watson, your boy Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed's gonna have over 1,000. Like it could be, whew, it could be high, like
No, but
ridiculous.
I mean, if James Pierce Jr. is gonna get to play this season and getting all these extra, courses to take to get all that off his record after he fought the cops, then Josh Jacobs is playing this year. But
To me, it's one of those things. If you're so scared, get off. But what are you getting off for? A second?
Yeah,
Like,
I would rather hold. I mean, if someone wants to sell for a second, I'll pay for it.
but that's what I'm saying. Would you give a 27-second for him right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope anyone listening in the dad's league that you're in that you don't have him in is willing to do that because that's probably about the going
Send it.
price, right? Now,
Send it.
truly, if you do that and he plays this year, you lost, but you also gain future value, right? And let's be
Yeah.
honest, 3 years from now, he's not really worth much, but you
No,
did just give
no.
up a lot.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Let's get into these 2027 prospects. We got what is this, three QBs, four backs, three wide
four,
receivers, and
four
two and
receivers and two tight ends,
yep, yep.
right?
Four receivers, four backs, three
Three
QBs,
quarterbacks.
and two tight ends.
Those are
Start us off.
the top guys I wanted to talk about. When I sent you the list, I was thinking this would be good to kind of go over. People can watch. It's almost, I wanted to set what I think could be a quick first round for next year, especially in tight end premium, and kind of give people an idea of who these guys are and what they'll see and the hype they'll hear around them. And let's start with number one. People have been knowing him since he was like 12 years old. Arch Manning, Texas QB, projected to go 101 to wherever he goes. Chances are he goes top five no matter what, even if he kind of sucks. Um, let's see. Let me pull up. He's 6'4", 219. He had a 61.4% accuracy this year, threw for 3,163 yards, 26 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But one of the biggest things coming out for him that is why fantasy's gonna love him is he's athletic. He likes to
Yep.
run. He had 92 rushes for 399 yards and 10 touchdowns. And don't forget, in college, you lose your rushing yards to sacks. So you got to bring that up as well. That it's typically probably closer to what an NFL would have been, about 500 to 550 yardage. Just quick guess. Um, if so, I watched some film on all these guys that we're going to go through. So to start talking about him, he's got all the tools. He looks like smooth and kind of like a Caleb Williams-esque kind of type is what he reminded me of. All the tools, everything going for him. Big kid, can make it happen. Can he do it between the ears? And we know the Mannings can, and they'll drill him on it and stuff. His footwork can be awful, which in big situations, big games. I mean, the first game of the year last year, everyone remembers watching him at Ohio State, who was really good, and he looked like shit. But the more the year game on in the second half, he got a lot better. So let's not just credit a young kid on the road in a huge environment not looking the best. He has a little bit of a quirky motion to his throw. It comes out quick, but there's definitely a little extra arm, I guess, whip to it. And he can throw off all angles. He likes to move the pocket. They like to move the pocket for him. So, like I said, he reminds me a lot of like a Caleb Williams coming out. Um, it's exciting. He's, like I said, he's going in the top five. I don't know if there's anyone that even thinks he might not go top three. But for him, it's really, can he settle down, do a little better? He's got a number one receiver over there that we'll talk about later. So that
Mhm.
should and could help him. And he's going to be the starter going into the second year. There was some dude named Quinn Ewers that were starting before him, and that guy's gone. So what do you have on Arch?
Yeah, I remember was it 2 years ago when I would watch their games. Caleb, aka CeeLo Slice, he's a huge fan of the Longhorns. So I would always talk shit, when they're playing. But Arch Manning. So while I was watching Quentin Ewers, I mean, it is very well documented on this podcast and in chats. I was not a fan of Quentin Ewers. I didn't like him at all. I was always screaming for them to put in Manning just because that's what everyone wants to see. And he didn't start out great this past year, but as the year went along, just like you said, he got better. And I'm hoping that he can continue that going into this year. This past year was his first full year starting. So it takes some time to learn the game, learn the speed of the game, and get up to speed and get everything going between the years. I don't think anyone would expect a first year player to play great, even though it's supposed to be one of the great QBs. So A lot of what I'm going to be talking about is where they're projected to go for next year because there's already psychos that are doing mock drafts for next year. So currently, he's projected to go first overall to the Cardinals. I think that would be a great spot for him. You know, having the Manning and Marvin Harrison Jr. You know connection. Just have just like Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison seniors. It's just a good storyline. And I think that he goes there. He's got a what's supposed to be a top wide receiver in the NFL. Hasn't really worked out, but he's got Trey McBride and you got Michael Wilson. That's going to be, I think this is his last year, so he could get a contract, go back there, but he's going to be sitting there with Jeremiah Love, Marvin Harrison, and Trey McBride. A good offense to go into. They have a decent offensive line with their two tackles. They could that could be a completely different team next year on how we perceive that team just going forward. I mean, it's already a good young core of players. You drop in someone like Manning, I think that's gonna be a fun one to buy into for fantasy with all those weapons. And then Manning, who's projected to be the first pick next year, and I think he will be the first pick next year as long as he doesn't absolutely fall on his face this year. We talked about the QBs for this past class. Going into the season, there was a bunch of them that were projected to go top 10, and none of those guys went top 10, and it ended up being Mendoza. So things can happen, but this has been a long time coming for Manning. Um, One thing that I do like about him that you already talked about is the fact that he's mobile, and for fantasy, that's huge. That adds, if he can add an extra 400 or 500 yards on the ground, even if it's like 350, that's a good baseline at the next level. And you have all those good options with the Cardinals. If he does go there, he won't have to run probably as much, but he'll still provide a solid floor for fantasy while he grows into being an NFL QB. But that's
Yep.
about it on him.
No, sounds good. Let's get to the next quarterback, which we have is Dante Moore, which a lot of people knew going into last year because he played in the playoffs, is the starting quarterback for Oregon. 6'3", 206, had 71.8% completion percentage. Now, Oregon runs kind of a gimmicky offense, so their percentages are usually higher, but still
Yeah.
71.8 is nothing to sneeze at. 35, 65 yardage, 30 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And then wasn't he isn't the most mobile, but he'll get around. He had 73 rushes, 156 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. And yet again, like I said, don't forget sack yardage comes off your rushing in college. So you got to think of that as, maybe in the NFL with that many games, he's somewhere around a 275, 300-yard rusher. Kind of scrambles, get 4 a game, 3 or 4 a game, get a couple first downs, etc. Maybe 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns. Kind of, he's the guy I see at the NFL level is kind of like that. Watching him play, except his last game where he looked like ass in the playoff, he is a smooth thrower and it looks beautiful coming out of his hand. Very calm in the pocket, mobile around the pocket, little movement. I understand why people were thinking he might compete with Mendoza as like a 1-2 punch as the quarterbacks if he came out because of how good he was. Um, like I said, very smooth, a little mobile. And what's nice is we get a whole nother year coming up to see how he even develops more. Can he take this team? And I'll bring it up with Texas. I'll bring it with Oregon. And I'll look at Ohio State. If you look at guys coming out in the draft next year, those 3 schools have tons of dudes in the first 100 picks. And those probably are the 3 favorites to win the national title. So we'll get a lot of looks at them. So
Mhm.
be ready. I'm excited. I think it adds one more passer to the quarterback class coming out, and that's one more than we had all of this year. So be excited about Dante Moore. He'll definitely be coming out, and it'll be fun to watch to see actually how he performs with a little more pressure on him, maybe because there is high standards. What do you think, Gus?
Well, currently he's projected to go second overall to the Jets. Jets just got a ton of pass catching weapons. They have Brees Hall now on a long term deal. If he goes to the Jets, just like the Cardinals, you drop a talented QB into an up and coming offense. I think that'd be For these two teams to get a good QBs and have the pieces in play to be a better team than the first and second overall pick where they're currently projected. I mean, it's always good to have more offenses that you can pick players from and be excited about, because not too many people right now are excited for the Jets and the Cardinals. I mean, it could be Carson Beck this year if they don't get Jacoby Brissett a contract. You know, he still might play, but as of this moment right now, he's not there. So if you drop a QB into the Jets offense that has this type of draft capital, people love his talent. Like, he's not someone that's going to kill you on the ground, but if he can just get the ball around to all these new pass catchers, you still have Garrett Wilson and everyone there, then this is going to be a great offense. Just hopefully the Jets don't fuck it up again. But we already have more QBs than we did for this past year that we are excited about. We're probably going to have 4 to 5 in the first round this upcoming season. Probably closer to 3 or 4. And guys can always fall out or go back to school, or someone like Fernando Mendoza pops off and all of a sudden he's a first round pick. But these top 2 guys, I think, are going to go pretty highly next year in our drafts, probably somewhere in the 102 to 105 range, depending on the other skill positions that come out. But I mean, it's great to have these guys comes out, because it pretty much every year it it seems to be that there's a QB problem every year in the NFL. There's always teams where it's like, okay, who's a QB? Okay, we aren't excited about that. Rodgers, your guy, Gino. You have
Right.
maybe Carson Beck playing, like, and then whoever's playing for the Browns, who we'll talk about their guy next. But just having young, good talent going to bad teams to hopefully turn it around. That's always good for fantasy, especially if you own pieces to those offenses. So if he goes to the Jets, that'll be great for everyone involved. Hopefully,
Yep. No, for sure. It'll be interesting to see if he does. I mean, the Jets were thinking of drafting him this year. It'll just be a delayed year for them to get him. And
yeah.
they built the O line around him. It could be a good situation. They got 2 now first round receivers. They got a tight end. Like, it would be nice to see him there. The next guy and the last quarterback we're going to talk about is Julian Sand, quarterback, Ohio State. 6'1", 210, so a little bit shorter, and you can actually see that a little bit on film. The biggest thing about him is his accuracy. In that offense, it's more of a pro style, 77% completion percentage. Threw for 3,600 yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but there is literally no rushing. He had 42 rushes for negative 44 yards and no touchdowns. So
Hell
you're
yeah.
literally just getting purely a pocket passer. He's very accurate. There's no other way to describe it. Is it really fun to watch? No. And when I was watching the film, one of the biggest issues, he's accurate, right? I'm going to keep saying it. The team around him has multiple. Carnell Tate, who went 4th overall, Jeremiah Smith, and other guys that we're not talking about here that are also top talent around him. And the idea that he is that accurate makes sense, but he's playing with what guys could be 2 top 15 wide receivers coming out. And I have trouble saying how good is he actually going to be. So we'll see. This year we'll get to see more. And like I said before, these are the top 3 teams coming out with the quarterbacks that are probably the 3 favorites to win the national title: Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas. And we'll see how they play out. He looked like he got a little scared with pressure when there was some pressure. We saw it in the playoff a little bit, and that was something to worry about. Now, they should be better. A lot of the O-line, I think, is coming back, if I'm correct about Ohio State. At least, I think 4 of the 5 are. And so that could be a positive. They'll improve. They'll gel a little better. But with all that talent, I have trouble judging how good is he really. If you said every time you drop back to throw, you're throwing to either Carnell Tate or Jeremiah Smith, I could be a pretty good quarterback, and that's not saying much. So, what do you have, Gus? What I know you watched a little bit. What do you think about him?
Yeah, he's I watched quite a few games of him this past year as well, and to have the weapons that he had, to me, sometimes they're like, okay, this guy is not it. I wasn't excited about the games that I saw. I mean, if you have that that group of weapons and you're not one of the top QBs in the nation, then I just find it hard to buy in. He's projected to go ninth overall to the Browns, and that would be the most Browns thing ever to take a QB that I'm not particularly excited about. And he's not gonna have Tate. He's not gonna have Smith. He is gonna have, you know, KC. They are gonna have Boston. It's just he will probably be my least drafted QB next year, and even being I would probably see him going later in the first round of our drafts just because of the other talent that's in this class, and he's not mobile. And he's more of a pocket guy, and that's one of the things I did see was he struggles against pressure a lot. And going to the Browns, they just revamped their offensive line. Great, but it's not going to be one of the top lines in the league, so he's going to have some issues. Thankfully, he's not going to be going up against Miles Garrett in games, but he will in practice, and that's probably going to scare the shit out of him. But hopefully, he takes a step forward. This was his first year starting, so just like Manning, it's going to take some time for him to really grow into the game. I'm not expecting a lot from a first year starting QB. If he takes a step forward and he looks better, then by all means. But from what I saw this past year, I'm not too thrilled.
Yeah, he's a highly ranked guy. We see him going early. If he gets drafted, like you're saying, at the 109, he's going to be a very high first round rookie pick. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, even if it's for this class, even if it's the 110, you're getting a guy that should be the starter there for a long time. Moving on, going from quarterback to running back. The first
Hell
running
yeah.
back we're going to talk about is Ahmed Hardy out of Missouri, 5'10, 208. Um, quickly, he got shot recently, so that's the first thing you probably see in the news.
Yeah.
Supposedly he's doing fine. I don't know anything after that, but he had 256 carries, 1,649 yards, 6.4 yards per carry, and 16 rushing touchdowns. He was not used in the passing game. He
Nope.
had 6 receptions for 22 yards and no touchdowns. I will say, if you watch him, it takes multiple guys to take him down. As much
Oh
as
yeah.
he's only 5'10 and 208, he plays like he's 230. His contact balance is beautiful. I've been trying to find a comp, but it's fun to watch him. Just go watch some highlights of him. He's got burst, doesn't catch much, but he has burst, contact balance. His true long speed, I don't know if it's there, but he finds the holes and cuts through them. It reminds me, what's funny looking at this class, he reminds me of a
Price.
automatically better Jadarian Price, like right away, like not even question, like, oh, this dude has it. Yards after contact, seeing the hole, all that stuff. And he plays in Missouri, so he played in the SEC on one of the worst teams. So let's be realistic of what we saw. Still there, still has great contact balance, and is a fun guy to watch. So if you want to watch some highlights of a dude just not going to the ground when guys are bouncing off of him, go watch some Ahmad Hardy. What do you think, Gus?
Price Price would have hit like 2,000 yards and like 30 touchdowns in that offense this year if he was by himself. But whatever. But yes, I do think Price is a pretty good comp. He wins with contact balance, not the long speed, but he's got good vision. He's he can catch, but it's like there's not a whole lot in his profile. He's currently projected to go 201 to the Jags next year, which I think would be a great fit between him and Tootin. A little thunder and lightning pairing there, which he wouldn't get all of the work there, but I do think that they need a power back. I know they have Chris Rodriguez there, but he would be a massive step up from Chris. He's if he went to the Jags, it would hurt Tootin's value a bit just because people are expecting Tootin to get most of the work this year, and he probably will. But this is probably a good time. If you don't believe in Tootin long term, or you think that they may draft a back in the next year, because there's a few that are going to get drafted in, day one and day two next year. That if they take one to fill out that offense, then it's going to hurt Tootin's value. But if he goes there, I think it's a great fit. He would be the Thunder to Tootin, and he's going to be a highly drafted back, so he's probably going to go mid first next year.
Yep.
That's all I
No,
got
which
on him.
is I think where he goes is gonna really depend, so much so on what we think of him. And he has to have a pretty good year this year, right?
He will.
And the gunshot, hopefully didn't hit any vital organs. So the next guy on the list is Kawan Lacey out of Ole Miss, 5'11", 210, 306 carries, 1,567 yards. Of course, this is in the Lane Kiffin offense, so it's a little more, not necessarily gimmicky, but had a lot of nice sets to it. Averaged 5.1 per carry, but had 24 rushing touchdowns. And also to add to that, he had 29 receptions and 177 yards. Smooth, very smooth. Every time I kept watching him, the biggest thing that I was like, it doesn't look like he's running. It literally just looks like he's gliding and wasn't putting in much effort. It was kind of a weird, like, why is he not trying? Is almost what it felt like at points. The other thing I have in here would be the number 2 back in this draft right now. It would be Price than him over everyone else. Because of the receptions and the receiving skills and what I think he can do and the way he glides, I think I would have him probably above Hardy, but that's a year out, so who knows, right?
Yeah,
Um, how's the offense going to look without Lane Kiffin? I don't know, but he was very smooth, very good, showed enough power. I mean, he had 24 rushing touchdowns. It shows that he's able to get in the end zone and find his way to get into the end zone. They'd give him the ball at the goal line a bunch. Um, so this is Kewan Lacey, a good name to know. And if you watch him, like I said, it doesn't really look like he's trying when he's gliding, even and past some of the cornerbacks. I think he could be quite fast. Like, I think he has the speed.
fair enough. He's currently listed at 5'11", 200 pounds, so he's really probably like 5'10", 5'9", maybe 190. So a bit of a smaller back, but the pass catching work is going to be great for him. If he can continues that this year and he adds more to that profile, then he's going to be great for fantasy just because of what that does for fantasy. I mean, if you get a catch for 1 yard, it's the same as if he ran for 10 yards. So if he can continue that in a new system, and I currently he's projected to go 22nd overall to the Texans next year. So he's projected to be a first round pick next year. And if he comes out and he's a first round pick with that profile, he's going to be I there's so many topping guys in 27 if all goes right. He could probably 104, 105, maybe even bump up ahead of the
106.
QBs. Yeah, he could be pretty high next year.
Oh, he will be.
Especially if he
Yeah,
goes in the first round next year, like he's currently projected. And
for sure.
for him to, you think of who's there now. It's David Montgomery. Is he there on a 1 year deal? I think
I
he's
thought
on
it
the
was like a
last
2,
year.
but a 1 year pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a chance that he's the guy by himself next year with his build. I would hope that they would have somebody else there. Maybe they bring back David Montgomery just to be the goal line guy or the power back guy, but David Montgomery can still catch passes, but he's going to be another year older. We saw him kind of slow down this year. So adding in someone like Lacey, that's going to be huge in the passing game, and with his profile, then that could be a better offense for Stroud. Overall, he can have another outlet out of the backfield that he's not always trying to go deep downfield to Nico and Higgins. So if he goes that high next year, then you've got yourself probably a top 10 back in Dynasty. Probably be somewhere around 6, 7, 8, 9 ish range because there is a bunch of youth this year that's probably going to take a step forward with all the guys from the year prior. But you're going to have guys like JT that probably fall out after this year. Saquon's not going to be up there. So
Henry,
yeah,
all these
well,
guys are falling.
yeah, yeah. So having a good uh, i- infusion of youth at this position is always good for fantasy. And if he's a first round pick this year, then you've got it back for a while. All right.
Yep. So my next guy, my third running back that I have on this list is Nate Frazier, another out of Georgia, UGA, 5'10", 210. So these first three are all around the same height and weight based on what I have. They split
Hate it.
carry.
Tiny, tiny motherfuckers. I hate it.
Well,
I can't wait to until we get to the next guy.
the next guy at fair. He had 100 in Georgia. They like to rest their guys. We've talked about it. He tells, the smart tells all his guys that guess what? You're not going to be getting 300 carries. I'm going to keep you fresh, but you're going to look awesome. I'm going to get you to the NFL. So he only had 173 carries this year, 947 yards, but averaged 5.5 a clip, and only had 6 rushing touchdowns. Um, he had one thing that was positive, and I think he missed a few games, if I remember correctly. He had 16 receptions for 116 yards and 1 touchdown. So he catches the ball okay. He looked good. If you watch the film, it looks like he takes a bunch of little steps anytime he's going and working real hard doing it.
He's
Almost
fast.
like a Isaiah Pacheco. Remember how he was jamming into the ground? Maybe not quite as big of a jammer into the ground, but looks like he takes a bunch of steps to get moving. But when he does get to the next level, if he gets through a hole and is 5 or 6 yards down the field, he will take a nice quick cut to make the safety look like an idiot. And so that is something that is fun to watch. He does seem pretty quick, long speed wise as well. I don't know what he'll run, but we got a full year before we see it. But he's definitely a guy to have on your radar. He seems more like a late first, early second for next draft, but he's another running back that someone will like. What you got about him, Gus?
Uh, Talking about his speed, he's projected to run a 4.35 40.
There
So
we go.
he's gonna have the speed, even if it's a 4.4. He's still gonna be faster than the
Yeah.
first two guys that we talked about. He's more of the slasher one cut runner that if he finds a hole and he can make one cut, he's gone. Currently, he's projected to go 86th overall. There's not a team that's associated with it yet, but so you're looking at the back end of the third round ish, so mid to back end of the third, which is still pretty good draft capital for a back. I would assume he would be either a back end first round pick or an early first round pick. If he was in this class, he would probably be a first round pick. So, you know, he's he. It says that he's 5'10", 5'10", 210. So he's probably a little bit shorter, around that 200-pound mark, which is fine for a back. I was out on Gibbs because he was 199 or whatever a few years back. Egg on my face. There's an old episode that's probably now going to get a bunch of views where I dogged on Gibbs like bad when he was coming into the league, and I was wrong. So, but not saying that Nate Frazier is going to be Gibbs, but he can catch the ball. He's fast. He can definitely be I wouldn't think that he's going to be a workhorse back at the next level, but he's going to be a great 1-2 punch guy to pair with one of the first two types of backs.
Yeah. No, it'll be fun. It just shows that there's definitely some depth in the running back class, and there are a lot more guys we haven't talked about. The last running back we're going to talk about is
Yeah,
Jaden Baugh, Baugh, out of Florida, running back. Now he is solid and thick, and if you watch him, his
he's a
legs,
thick boy.
his top half doesn't look that thick, but his legs look thick as hell. He's 6'1", 231. Had 220 carries, 1,170 yards, averaged 5.3 a clip, had 8 rushing touchdowns. But for being this size, the best thing about him is he had 33 receptions for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns. Thicker lower half is what I put, and he looked like he had natural hands out on the field. It was fun watching him because he does bowl over some guys, smash mouth them, and then will make some nice cuts has enough quickness for being 231 to be a true, could be a bell cow, and we'll have to see how he does this year, right? But it's really, to me, the size speed combo is going to be what people can fall in love with him. And he's playing the SEC again. What is it? All four of these dudes are SEC guys playing in big time football. And none of them are actually, I guess UGA, excuse me, but the others aren't at the top programs. So we'll have to see how he does, how Jaden Ball does, and the rest of these guys. But it gets me excited about this running back class. The real question is Jaden Ball the next Mike Washington, right? I think he probably is better than that and will probably
Oh yeah.
test better and look better than that. But the real question is, won't test better because Mike Washington did great. But is he that kind of level of talent, and is he projected to go higher in the NFL draft? What do you have on Jaden Ball?
Yeah, currently he's projected to go 58th overall. There's not a team that is associated with that. So mid to late second round pick, which would be great. He
Yeah.
is a thicker guy, but he's projected to run a 4.4640. So he's projected to be fast enough to be in the NFL, like kind of like a David Montgomery style build where he's a thicker back. He can catch the ball and he's great on the ground. He can break tackles. If he is anything like Montgomery, then he's going to be a smash hit at the next level. These are the kind of backs that always get me hot and bothered, just because it's a bigger back, like you look at guys like Bijan, who's thick. You look at Genty, Saquon, guys that are built to take a workhorse role at the next level, but can also catch the ball. Those are always my favorite because, I mean, if you look at that profile, that's someone that is going to be around for a long time if he's good at football. But
If he can play, right?
if he can play, yeah.
I mean, shit. We want Mike Washington come out. He could be the backup for 3 years, and any games that he missed, that Genty misses, could be a really good play. So you
I
never know.
saw a news blurb that came out of the camp for the Raiders that Ashton Genty is gonna be on the field most of the time. It's gonna be rare for him to not be on the field. It's like, thank God, because there was talks about them wanting to have like a 50-50 split. And they're going to bring in somebody else to split the work with Genty. He's like, no, you've drafted that dude in the top 5 picks. You need to put him on the field every single play. He's built to take the workload.
I mean,
He needs to be on the field.
this is a bias thing. I kind of hope they don't this year.
Oh, come
Now, if they
on.
give him more maybe than last year, I hope they don't, because I don't think that team's going to be very good. It's kind of like um, Jeremiah Love.
Kirk Cousins is going to lead them to the fucking playoffs this year
Get the
over the
fuck
Chiefs.
$20 bet right now.
They are not going to make the playoffs, but I think it will be a fun team to watch.
Okay. Anyway, I hope they don't. I hope they kind of rest him, give him more than last year, but like not 90%. How does that help you? I don't.
He's
Wait till
going
the
to be better
following
than
year
Love this
when
year.
they draft a little better, get him a number one receiver, get a little more O-line help, be able to spend some money around. The defense might still suck, so who cares? So for me, I hope they don't run his legs off. But
Yeah.
hey, good for fantasy if they do. So those are our 4 running backs. Now we're going to move to the wide receiver position. We have 4
I
of
don't think
these.
people have heard of this
The first guy?
first guy. He's kind
Yeah.
of a
Well,
sleeper.
yeah. Everyone in Dynasty the last 3 years have heard of him. This is Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver,
Hell
Ohio
yeah.
State. He's 6'3", 223, 87 catches, 1,243 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Averaged 14.3 catch and had 95.6 yards receiving per game. I wanted to put the per game because some of these guys didn't play all the games that we're looking at, so I added that in there. And that was next to the number 4 overall wide receiver in this past NFL draft. Just think about that, okay? Great hands, beautiful hands. The way he catches, he's open all the time. I will have 2 negatives because you know what? Let's shit on the guy that's supposed to be like the easy 101. For whatever reason, if you watch a highlight film, after he catches it and makes a couple moves, people drop
He
like,
doesn't do anything.
well, the ball gets knocked out of his hand. So I saw fumbles. I saw like 3 fumbles in just a couple highlight reels. I was like, huh, interesting. Some out of bounds, a couple he recovered, but the ball just kind of hits the ground. Who knows why? And he looks amazing, quick, open all the time, great hands, great hands. Like I said, I don't know his long speed. I don't know if he's 4.45. I would be a
Do
quick
you want to
guess.
know what it's projected to be at? Do you want to
I
guess?
did not. I did not see a 4.3 guy. That's my biggest thing.
Shows that he's 4.32. I don't think so.
I
But
didn't think so.
also,
Did you watch? Yeah.
also he's long and lanky, so he's got the long limb. Not necessarily lanky, but he's long, so his strides are longer than others. So maybe he's in the high 4.3s, but it's probably going to be in the 4.4s.
Yep. No, and which is fine at that size, at 6'3", 223
Oh
with
yeah.
the everything. The biggest thing I want to bring up right now, Gus, next year, is he automatically your number 1 wide receiver?
He's it's going to be hard to knock him out of there. I mean, someone's going to have a great season, like probably this next guy that we talk
Oh, no,
about.
I'm not
Like,
talking coming out of college. I'm
oh,
talking, is
oh,
he the number 1 receiver in Dynasty in
uh,
2027 startup draft? And the reason
someone's
I
going to
bring that
have
up,
him up there.
Chase is gonna be 28, right? 27,
Yep,
28.
yep.
Puka's gonna be a little older, and we're not sure who his quarterback is. And JSN, if he repeats, probably JSN has the easiest thing, but he's still got Sam Darnold, so who knows if Darnold turns back into a pumpkin. CD's older. Jefferson will be older, right? Is he at, what was it? I think he's 22 right now. Is he at 22 years old, 23 years old, the number 1 receiver in Dynasty in startups?
I wouldn't be shocked if people have him ranked there. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to rank someone at the number 1 position that hasn't taken a snap at the next level. Like, we thought the same thing about Marv. Like, Marv was top 5 when he was coming in, and there was guys like JJ and Chase up there already. People were thinking of him pretty highly. I it's going to be hard to put him at the first spot without having played yet. And where he's currently projected to go is to the Dolphins at 3 overall. So they're not going to take a QB in this, mock here. So if he's there with Willis, he's by and away far the best pass catching option that they have there. So he's going to get a ton of volume. How does this year look for Willis? It's I wouldn't be shocked if people have him as the wide receiver 1 in Dynasty next year. Would he be your first overall pick in drafts ahead of Manning and Moore? Because those are probably the top
Yeah,
3
no,
right now.
not to me, it's not very close. It's Smith. I think the
Okay,
value is there. I think Manning might slide into like quarterback, you know, could be high, could be quarterback 7 to 10.
12.
I think even
Yeah,
higher because all those other guys are getting older, right? They just are, you know. That Lamar's going to be 30, right? Josh Allen will be 30. Like all these guys
time
are
flies.
going to be older. And so does Manning pop up, especially with his rushing possibility. Um,
That's fair.
I I think the 101 is Jeremiah Smith. It's kind of like this year, what do you think about Mendoza? It didn't matter. Everyone was taking Love. Every draft I've done is Love. I think they're going to have that with Jeremiah Smith. And I truly think I might. I would love to see. I got a chance to wait, but I think a lot of people have Jeremiah Smith as their number 1 dynasty receiver going into the 2027 season.
It's wild to think of, but it's probably a real possibility. Now,
Yeah,
if JSN has another great year, then it's probably JSN.
him.
But
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if it's them 2 at the very top. But
right.
yeah, well, like I said, he's currently projected to go 3rd overall to the Dolphins. If he goes there, like I said, he's gonna soak up targets like crazy. Kind of some things that I saw with Smith. I watched a lot of his games this past year. Partially why I don't like saying, just because of the shit that I saw. But Smith is great. Uh, some things, if we're being picky. I think he can work some more on his route running. I mean, he's still very very young. But also he doesn't add a lot after the catch as far as going to break tackles. Like he's just not that guy. He's more of like a Marv. He's a big outside wide receiver that can go up and get it. He can stretch the field. He can win with routes on the outside. Um, but it's still he's going to be great next year. He's going to be drafted very highly, and the fact that Ohio State is going to have two top five wide receivers in back to back years, paired with Garrett Wilson, Olave, JSN, all the guys that they've had come out in the past 4 or 5 years is just insane. I think Brian Hartline was the wide receiver coach for them for all that time. I think he's now gone from
Yeah.
Ohio State, so that's going to be interesting to see if there's a fall off. Now they did just have another wide receiver coming into his freshman year. Who's that again? I forget his name.
Oh, the Ohio State number one. Yeah, I forget who it is. But they got like
He
the
went
number one,
first overall in the
the Devi.
Devi. Yeah, in the Devi draft that we just finished, he went first overall, and he hasn't taken a snap yet in college. So they've got some talent that comes out of that school, and you throw Marvin there and how you feel about him. But Jeremiah Smith is going to be great. He's going to go very high next year. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes first overall in the NFL draft. I don't think it's going to happen because QB is so important. But if a team said I'm taking Smith, I wouldn't fault them. It's just okay. What's your backup plan at QB then? But the old oh no, that was Burrow with Sewell when they took Chase. Would you rather have Chase wide open downfield, but Burrow can't throw it, or would you had Sewell with Boyd as your one there? But
And neither of them
yes,
have won a Super Bowl, but it's a great story.
yeah, yeah, yep, yeah. Yep. But
um,
Smith is going to be great. He's going to be drafted very highly. He's probably going to be the first overall pick in a lot of our drafts. Some people might go Manning, and I don't think I would fault them, especially if they need a QB. They're probably both going to be drafted mid to late first round in the startups next offseason, so they're going to
yep.
be well worth the value. So if you are a team that wants to tank this year, there's going to be some great prospects that come out next year that you can build around. I've already started it on a few teams where like I'm just going for it next year. I've got like 4 or 5 firsts for next year. Hopefully everyone comes out, because if like Manning and Smith go back, everyone's going to lose their fucking mind. But we'll see.
They When you're this high and you've spent
Yeah.
the time, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
Um,
Next.
next next wide receiver is a guy that used to play at Auburn. Now he's at Texas, so he'll be playing with Arch, which is why he went there. Cam Coleman, 6'3", 201. He had 56 receptions, 708 yards, 12.6 a catch, 5 touchdowns, and averaged 59 yards per game. Doesn't sound great, but he also, I've talked to a couple friends that are Auburn fans that follow it way closer, or follow Auburn way closer than I do. He's a little bit of a head case. So my biggest comparison watching his tape and also hearing this is George Pickens,
Hell
where
yeah.
he's great in the catch, great in the air, great hands, but in the air looks beautiful. He looks like one of those receivers that's just going to find a knack to get touchdowns. Like just every year you're like, oh, how did he end up with 9 as a rookie, and then 11, then 14? Like I could see him being a guy that's just like, oh shit, this dude had an okay year, may not have been great, but had 12 touchdowns. So his fantasy stat line is awesome. So yeah, George Pickens, my comp. I've loved him. If you go watch any Auburn game, there is a difference between him and every other play on Auburn. One of them's going to make the NFL, and all the other guys are not.
They're going to be selling car insurance in a year or two,
Yep, or they might be
which
working
is
with you,
why
Gus.
that's why he transferred to Texas. So
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, um, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. But I loved him. I think he's their number 2 wide receiver coming out, no doubt. I'll let you finish up because I think he gets drafted in the top 10. I just think people will love him, and that's how good he is.
Yeah, and that's where he's projected to get drafted. He's projected to go 7th overall to the Raiders. So they're projecting
Oh,
the Raiders to not make the playoffs. If he goes there and pairs with Mendoza, and then you have Bowers and Genty, man, that offense is going to be fun for fantasy. I think it's a great spot for him to land. He's going to be the primary outside X wide receiver. He's going to be the big guy on the outside. Bowers in the short to intermediate. That would be an amazing fit, amazing way to build around Mendoza, and the fact that they took Genty now going over a year ago. That maybe it was the right pick. They built around. I mean, they could have went another way, but with the way that they've built it, going RB then QB then wide receiver after having a tight end as well, like they've added stud after stud after stud at those key positions on offense. And if he goes there, I mean, he's going to be
is
by and away the best wide receiver on that team,
is
unless they
this
trade.
Atlanta? I'm serious. Is it Genty Bijan,
Yeah,
right? Is it
but with a
Pitts?
better
Well,
QB.
depends how you want to say it, right? Is it Pitts, Bowers, and then is it Cam Coleman and Drake London with probably a better QB, but probably worse O line, but truly probably a better offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
So, where do you draw it? And if they can find a way to get that O line, it's supposed to be a little better this year. We'll see. And then next year, if they draft him early and in the second round, and then maybe sign someone because none of these people are making money, and at that point, a lot of the defensive players will have moved on because they're old. That costs money. It could be a lot of fun to watch the Raiders. So,
yeah.
um,
What do
but
you
yeah.
want to guess that his projected 40 time is?
Oh, Coleman 4.38.
4.42, which
Okay.
is plenty fast enough. Like as long
Oh
as
yeah,
you're in
he's
four
6'3", over
four
200
four
pounds.
five,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
like
But
like I'm
yeah,
like I'm good at 4 or 5.
he looked a little faster to me than Jeremiah Smith. But
Okay.
at that point, I don't give a shit. Um,
Yeah.
Moving on, we're gonna move on to what a lot of people had as kind of a top three, but I didn't quite see this. And this year, his
This
stat
year
line
didn't look
wasn't as
great.
good. It's Ryan Williams Coleman. He added the Coleman as a hyphen. Um, from Alabama. He's only 6 foot, about 181, and he does look smaller as he plays. He had 49 receptions, 689 yards, averaged 14.1 a catch, only 4 touchdowns, and only 49.2 yards per game. He looks thin. Great cuts,
He
though.
is thin.
If you watch him running routes, it looked beautiful. He is very long. One thing I noticed, he has long arms. Like his wing, even though he's only 6 foot, he has those like drag arms, and when he puts them out to the side, they look very long. So my guess is wingspan, his arm length is going to be high. Great hands, and he's fast. He does have the speed. Like this guy's got a projected low 4.3s in the 40. It would be my quick guess, but he is smaller. So some teams might like him just as much. He's definitely not going to profile as a true big X, but he does have the speed. If you watch his film, what was weird is Ty Simpson went in the first round. They had Jeremy Bernard, who probably even looked like the better receiver this year. Ryan Williams needed to get his act together and bump back up to the top receiver that people think he is, because he didn't stand out on a field that he should have.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, with him being so slight, he's 175 is what he's currently listed at. So he's probably even less than that. He's probably in the low 170s, maybe even the 160s. But he looked thick enough to be in the 170s. He's not, super tiny like the guys that we saw this year. He does have the height. He's probably going to be around 5'11 to 6 foot. And he is projected to go mid first, 19th overall to the Washington Commanders, which would be a good piece to add next to Terry McLaurin. He's getting up there in age, and just to add another pass catching weapon for Jane Daniels, I think they have to next year. The fact that they didn't really address it that big this year. Yes, they did take Antonio Williams, but I would rather have Ryan Williams. So adding another piece of offense, they just need to hammer home offensive skill for the next 2 years to help Jane Daniels. He cannot do it all by
So
himself.
they need some O-line too. Let's
Yeah,
be realistic about that.
they need
Um,
everything besides QB.
QB, they need a running back. They don't need a tight end anymore. They got a couple defensive pieces, but yeah. Anyway, that's Ryan Williams. Now we're gonna move on to our fourth wide receiver.
What do you think his 40 was? You said low four threes,
My projected would be 4.34. I don't know, something like that.
so 4.28. So if he breaks into the 4.2s, he'll probably go higher in the NFL draft just because
Right.
the NFL draft bumps up those guys a lot.
Yeah. Fourth receiver. This is based on consensus. There's actually a bunch of other guys that people like, but
Oh
this is
yeah,
based on the consensus that I saw. So we chose him. It's Nick Marsh out of Indiana. He used to be at Michigan State, but transferred. He is 6'3, 213. At Michigan State, had 59 catches, 662 yards, 11.2 a clip, 6 touchdowns, and averaged 55.2 a game. He's big, and you could see the size, and he plays big. Yards after catch is his game. His speed, I'm not sure about his true long speed, what it's going to be like, but he's 6'3, 213. So I think he'll be fine. He is a yak guy through and through. My biggest comparison is all I wrote was a better Omar Cooper, who we are taking at what, the 111, 110 right now. He
yeah.
he reminds me of what everyone hopes Omar Cooper will be or could be, and he's better than him. And I watching the films, I don't think it's close. So for me, if you like a guy that gets some yak, will get multiple variety of catches, may not have the long speed, but can still score touchdowns, Nick Marsh is your guy. And he's going to Indiana. We know they have some pretty good O-line. They'll be a pretty good team. Will they be as good without Mendoza? Of course not. You can't lose the Heisman and a bunch of other players and be that good. But we'll still get to see him next to another receiver, Charlie Becker, who is another guy I almost put on here at Indiana. So we'll get to see some talent at Indiana again this coming year. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on Nick Marsh?
So he's currently projected to go 24th overall, so kind of like mid to back in first, and it's going to the Cowboys, which I think is very interesting. To me, that tells me that they would walk away from George Pickens.
Yep.
They don't have the money to give him a long-term deal. You draft Marsh and you stick him, outside and let CD work the middle. It would be great for Dak. It'd be great for that offense. You can't pay George. So George is probably a free next year unless they tag him again, which would be crazy. So
Yeah.
if somehow they have all three of these guys, that would be insane for Dak. Dak's going to throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. But the smart thing to do would be to let George walk or trade him now and get a first plus for him. Probably you could probably get a good deal for him, and then draft Marsh next year. I mean, he's going to be. I mean, we've already. I mean, currently there's projected to be 5, maybe 6 wide receivers in the first round next year. You're looking at 1 to 2 backs. You're looking at probably 4 to 5 QBs. So next year is going to be stacked at the offensive side of the ball compared to what it was this year. I think there was only what I think there was like maybe 10-ish people, well, 10-ish players that were drafted in the first round this year, and we weren't excited about maybe 6 of those guys that
Yeah.
apply for fantasy. So next year for fantasy, it's going to be a lot deeper of a class than it was this year. So a first round pick next year looks a lot better than a first round pick this year, as it
Yeah.
stands now.
Yep. So that rounds out our wide receivers. Next, we're going to go to tight ends. I only have 2 of them, so it won't be too much longer. But the first guy actually played with the number 1 tight end coming out this year. So it was an Oregon tight end. This is Jamari Johnson. He is 6'5", 257, so more of a prototypical size for a tight end, which is nice to see. The stats were okay for being the backup. He had 32 receptions, 510 yards, 15.9 a clip, which is high for a tight end. Only 3 touchdowns, and averaged 34 yards a game. Very athletic. That is something you can just see on the tape. Very athletic, it's smooth. He is the tight end version of Nick Marsh, which means yards after catch were his thing. He was able to break tackles and find lanes and be able to get extra yards, which is fun to watch. You know, when you watch the tape, you could see it or not, he's got it. Very good hands for being such a big guy. I think at the next level, they're going to vital whatever team takes him is going to use him more as a touchdown and red zone threat. I think Sadiq maybe took that away from them this year, but I think more we'll see that Jamari Johnson could be his number one target in the red zone. He reminds me, trying to remember a good comparison, but I guess Kyle Pitts coming out, which is high praise,
Oh,
which
good
is
lord.
way too high, a year ahead of him, and he only had 32 catches. But I think he can stretch the seam a little bit, which is very impressive, and have yards after catch. I'm I think he goes well before where Sadiq went last year. Like, I could see,
Okay.
I don't know what it says here, but Sadiq went what, like 16, 17, 18. I could see Jamari Johnson going earlier than that.
Yeah,
What you
there
got?
was I've seen quite a few people say that they liked him more than Sadiq that came out this year. He's currently projected to go 117 to the Bucks, which I think would be a great spot. Rest in peace, Kate Otten.
Yeah.
But to add another pass catching option to that offense with Baker, Godwin's probably done after this year. He might continue to continue to play, but for fantasy, it's probably getting pretty close. So you pair him with uh, Egg, Egbuka and then the younger core that they have there, wide receivers, having him over the middle. I think he would be a great option to add an offense. Just keep adding pieces to Baker because some reason they keep going down there in Tampa Bay. So the more pass catching options there, the better. Um, I, I his profile very athletic, and you're starting to see more of a trend with that style of tight end that is coming into the league, and we're starting to see a trend more now where first round tight ends and where they produce a lot quicker than in years past. I don't know if we're going to have the same trend that continues with this class that we just got done drafting, but for the past, was it 4 years, there's been somebody that's come out and done something in their first season. So I would look for that to continue next year, even if it skips this year. Who's
Yeah.
your last tight end? This
My
big
last
boy.
guy is my LSU boy, and that's what gets fun and exciting. Trey Green at LSU, 6'7" and all of 6'7". All you're gonna ever hear is played basketball and knew how to do it, blah, blah, blah. 6'7", 240. He had 33 receptions, 433 yards, 13.1 a clip, 7 touchdowns, and averaged 39 yards a game. He just looks big. He can go up and get it. It's like a basketball player going to get a rebound. Every quarterback at LSU, that's what they did. They just kind of threw it up to him, and he was able to go get it. When the team was struggling or needed a first down or a touchdown, he was their target last year, even when LSU was struggling. TDs are going to be the name of his game. He doesn't really look like a blocker. So I don't think that's going to be his game. He hopefully can develop a little more and might get a little scrappy, but so far that's not his jam. He plays more of an H-back slash big slot and goes up and gets it. For us in fantasy, some teams probably going to fall in love with him because he is such a red zone threat because he's able to go up and get it. Like, there's a bunch of games you can watch. There's a safety I'll never forget that looked about 6'2", and they both just the quarterback just kind of threw up a lob. And when he went up to get it, the safety at 6'1" was maybe touching his elbows, and he was able to pull down a touchdown. It was not even close. And so he will be a mismatch, especially in the red zone. And he looks like he already has at least an understanding of how to control his body and get the touchdown and can catch. So these are positives, but truly not much blocking, and we'll see how he develops this year. LSU should be better. Lane Kiffin's coming in. I'm in I'm in Louisiana. The hype is real. I don't know if it's that good. The offensive line's all going to be new, but the idea that he should be part of this team and should be able to produce is going to keep it fun.
Well, you're gonna hate where he gets drafted because he just drafted a shitload of Justin Jolly. So
Like,
he's projected to go top of the second to Denver. Um, I don't know why they have the 203 in
how
his
did they get
mocks.
203? They
Eh,
traded out of the first round? That's how. That makes
probably,
sense.
probably,
Yeah.
probably. It's at the 203, so 35th overall going to the Broncos. I always like to see when my tight ends have a background in basketball. They're going to have great hands. They're going to understand body positioning and all that stuff just because that's what they used when they play basketball. So it translates well. If he goes to the Broncos, I already know you have about, I don't know, 40 something shares of Justin Jolly. I would really like to know the overall number that you have him because me and you were fighting for him in the fourth round pretty much everywhere. But
Oh, shit.
if he goes there, then it's probably done for Jolly. If Jolly even gets a role this year, I know you like him a lot, but there's still other guys in that room that he's got to get ahead of, and Sean Payton's not the one to throw in young guys super quick. But there's still a chance, and if he goes there, that's another great option for Bo Nix. I mean, having a talented pass catching tight end is always something that you want to add to a young QB. I say young, but Bo Nix is like 32 now at this point. But
Feels like it.
so already we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine guys that we just talked about going in the first round, and there's more. There's like another six or seven or eight that are projected to go in the first round for next year. Obviously, things would change. Players will drop. Players will rise. It happens every single year. Like we talked about at the very beginning, all those QBs were projected to go super high this year, and there was none of them that were projected that high went that high. Um, but no one's really thinking of that with Arch Manning and more maybe Julian Sane, but just really depends on how he does this year in his second season. But as far as the backs are easier to project along with the wide receivers just because they're more known talent and a lot of it is their physical gifts. QBs, there's a lot that's in between the years. But have you pulled up yet? How
I
many shares do
I
you have?
I just pulled it up. He is actually my most owned tight end,
That
and
makes
I
sense.
still and I have other drafts that haven't even finished. I
Oh,
have him in 44 leagues.
there we go. I almost hit it on the fucking nail. 44
Yep.
shares of Justin Jolly just sit on your taxi and never do anything.
Well,
Damn,
which
that's
sucked,
crazy.
but at least it was a late 3rd slash early 4th round rookie pick in this draft, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yep. I think my most owned player overall is like Savion Williams, is because I was just going to take him in the fourth round every single draft last year. So he's just sitting on a bunch of my taxis. He's probably my most owned player, like 20 something shares.
Can you guess my 2 top most owned players?
Oh, can I get the position?
The number 1 is a wide receiver.
Nico Collins?
Oh, no, 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 no. Come on, man.
Oh, it's probably a lower end guy just because they're easier to
Yes,
acquire.
that's definitely like, I'm not paying that full freight for all these guys,
Oh,
even though Nico is quite high.
yeah, that's what I
Who's my
thought.
boy that I loved too much last year and I still love this year?
Oh, I know as soon as you say it, I'm gonna go, of course. Um, oh, the Bills, Khalil Shakir. Yeah.
You got it. He is my most owned player. I have him in 67 leagues.
Oh my goodness. Out of how many
Right
leagues? Like
now,
68?
yeah, this says I'm in 150 leagues, which I don't know if that's true because I've cut a few, so it's probably pulling from some old redraft leagues too. But we're not telling the wife that. Anyway, do you know who my number 2 most owned player is?
Cortland Sutton. Oh, how high Sutton?
Sutton's high. You're right. Sutton is I have him in 33 leagues.
Okay. Is it still a wide receiver?
The number 2 guy is a running back.
Marks.
Marks is up there, but it is not Marks. It is another
Um,
second-year running back
R-
that I took
RJ
all
Harvey.
over last year, and he didn't do shit.
and he didn't do anything. It's
and
not
I still have him,
all Harvey.
and I'm still drafting him. That part's interesting to state.
So he was a rookie this past year?
Yep.
Oh.
If I didn't get Marks, I took this guy. That's probably the most honest thing I could say about him.
Oh.
But he's really cheap.
I I would assume if you have a whole bunch of shares. I know as soon as you say it. Um, go ahead and say it. I'm I'm drawing
Taj
blanks.
Brooks
Oh yeah, of course that makes so much sense. You fucking take him everywhere
all the time.
for no good reason. You even took him in this last startup, and it
There you
was
go.
going to be something that I was going to talk about on the review. That you own so many shares of Brooks for no good reason, but
I love that you say no good reason, which is probably my
no good
favorite
reason.
part.
Yeah.
I do
Uh,
have 29 shares of Marshawn Lloyd and 54 shares of Chris Brooks, just for the record.
okay. Yeah, my most owned is probably Savion Williams. Who's your most owned QB?
It I will say you might get it right, but I only have 28 shares of him.
Is it a top guy?
Nope.
Oh, great. Um,
He's old as shit.
Tyler Shuck.
Old as shit. He is old, but no. Aaron Rodgers is my most owned quarterback.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, he's probably my third quarterback on all these teams. I got 28 shares of him. My
Okay.
number 2 is actually Pat Mahomes at
I'm sorry.
27.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry again.
it keeps
I
getting
think I
worse. Don't worry.
I think I have one share of Mahomes. So
My next guy is Tua. That feels good.
yeah, you are a sucker for the guys that don't do dick, apparently.
Yeah.
Tight
Geno's
ends.
Geno's fifth.
Tight ends has to be Jolly is your most high,
Jolly's number 1. You know who number 2 is because I took him all over last year and he didn't do shit. But he's back this year.
um I don't know. Is he a
Jatavian
second year? Oh,
Jatavian
Jatavian Sanders.
Sanders.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. Don't care. All right.
exactly.
That's about it. Let's get into some dad advice. Is it me or you this week? I don't remember.
Um, if you got something, go for it.
All right. Well, um, this past week, me, the wife, and the kids took a 7-hour car ride up to Arkansas with two toddlers in a car, and it was 7 hours back. Um, the biggest thing I can have off that, if anyone's ever driven a long way with toddlers, you definitely need some patience. You need some patience, some understanding, maybe a few beers along the way. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But have stuff for them to do, whether it's coloring, playing with toys, whatever. We watched a movie for part of the way. Give them something to do because they will do everything that you don't want them to do. Hit, kick each other, throw stuff at each other, scream and yell the whole ride, any and everything that you can think of. So have a plan for what they're going to be doing on that trip. We usually pack them a lunch in this little tray that's got a lid just to take up like the first hour that they say, "Oh, I'm done," and then they give it back, and then like five minutes later, "Oh, I want my food again," and then just go back and forth for like an hour until they finish that. Watch a movie, color, find something for them to do. Otherwise, it's going to be quite the journey with them saying "mom" and "dad" every 5 seconds and want to tell you about something, which is fine. But at the same time, like, yes, I know that was a green tree. Yes, that was a red car. Like they're making the most of it. Fortunately, on the way back, we left out at about 3:30, and it was a 7-hour ride. So about halfway through, my daughter fell asleep for a few hours, and son watched the movie. So just a bit of advice for something that I just went through. Have something for them to do. keeps them entertained. Not saying hand them a tablet and let them go crazy, but watch a movie or two, or have them color, play with toys, something, just to keep them occupied. I know back in the day when I would take trips, I'd play this game with the rain. You watch the raindrops race down the car window. That was something that I played as a kid because I got
Part
absolutely
of the
nothing
fun.
to fucking play with. It's like, all right, I'm gonna see how many red cars I can find, or watch the raindrops race down the window. But kids have it a little bit better these days with the stuff they can have in the car. That was just based off of my experience. When I was a kid, I also rode in the bed of a truck from Texas to Florida. Just laid in the back of the truck. I was probably 5 years old. Yes, there was a camper that was over the bed of the truck, but we were just laying in the bed of the truck with nothing for however long that drive is, like 10 plus hours. So
Didn't
don't do
matter.
that
You just
anymore.
did it.
Kids back then were raised just a bit differently. If you did that these days, you would be in prison. If you
Yeah, if they pull you over,
if
you
you
just go
did that,
straight to jail. That's all that
straight to
happens.
jail. But yeah,
But so
all right.
next week we're going over Dad's 33.
Yep, Dad's 33. You're in that league. Miles
Oh
took
yeah.
over an orphan as soon as the draft ended. This guy left and said that he had some things come up in life, and he left two leagues. One was the startup that he had just finished. So Miles took that team over. So we get to trash Miles' team, the team that he didn't draft. So that'll be fun.
Yep.
But this was an interesting draft. There was a lot of, I mean, this was one of those leagues where they voted on a 4 hour timer, and if you took more than 5 seconds to make a pick, they were on your fucking ass. It's like, God damn, guys, can
Yes,
y'all
they
talk about
were.
something else? Fuck. And the draft was over in like 4 days. So like,
It was
no,
very fast, to say the
yeah,
least.
it was one of the faster startups. It was maybe a week. I think we started it the Friday before last, and they were done on like Saturday, Sunday of the following week. So very quick draft. Most take a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. I've seen them go month long. We are also about to start up another startup. I'll probably have two going back to back with this next round. Hopefully, it's not the same group that's bugging the entire time, but we shall see. That'll be a fun episode. I think that's it for
Yep.
this week. All right, man.
Great. Sounds good, bud. All
All
right.
right.
Have a good rest of the week.
Same.